welcome to our summer series. Today, we are talking about the buyer consultation, how to set that up and go through it, and I'll show you where to find it. Does anybody have any questions before we jump in, though, about the buyer consultation? All right, fabulous. In addition, I'll tell you what I like about this buyer consultation and what I don't like about the buyer consultation. The buyer consultation can be found. So there's the listing presentations in two different spots, and we'll cover that, I think, next week. The buyer consultation's only in one spot. So there's one place to find the buyer consultation. It's in the One Design Creative Studio. So you log into your One Design Creative Studio, which is going to open a window that should look like that. That doesn't look like anything now. So we'll just reopen it. Thank you for being amazing computer. All right, so One Design Creative Studio, it's opening slowly. This is why I had it pre-opened. All right, when you get into the One Design Creative Studio, over on the left-hand side is your menu. If you go down to where it says Realty One Group Prospect Guides and hit the little down arrow, then it says Presentations. We're getting closer. We click on that. And then it opens up. You've got a listing, a buyer, and a blank. So you want to open up that buyer presentation by hitting Create Design. And once you do that, it should open up, and it may take a moment because the buyer presentation is like 33 pages long, which is, we just crossed into reason number 1. Amy's not a fan of this buyer presentation. Oh, no, don't. I hit the wrong button. That's not what I wanted to do. All right. But nevertheless, it's still a good buyer presentation. You can go in there and edit it and tweak it. So give me a second to reopen it, but it may take a moment to load because, again, it is 33 pages. I thought before I started this today, I thought I should download that guide so that I don't run into internet issues while I'm in the middle of this. And then I failed to do so. And then that's what happened. So Create Design, it opens this up. You can preview it. Any of these designs you can preview, and you want to hit Create Design again. So it actually opens it up. And that's what allows you to edit it. Okay. You do need to edit it. However, if your information's set up in One Design, it will pull a lot of your own information over, which is fabulous. So we're going to let this open. See, it's 33 pages that it has to load. All right. And then, so you're going to come in here and edit it. So you have to think about what your goal is while it's loading. We'll talk about the buyer guide. So this buyer guide, I would say 2/3 of the buyer guide is about building the case for you being a stellar agent. Okay, which I think is important. And the buyer probably doesn't care. Okay, I mean, the buyer wants to be represented by a great agent, but a lot of these pages have to do with like Realty One Group and why we're the best and how many houses we've sold and all this stuff. And ultimately, the buyer doesn't care. The buyer wants to know, how are you going to solve my problem of finding me a house and getting me my own house? That's really what the buyer wants to know. So I would probably edit this down and actually just maybe eliminate some pages, or maybe even move them to the back. Maybe they're still important and you don't need to cover all of that information. So, and that's my opinion. So you may have a different opinion, and it kind of depends on your buyers too. So remember, when we talk about buyers, we talk about wanting to mirror and match them, and we want to cater to their personality type. Okay, so like if we have a high D driver, we just want to get to the point. Like, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to search from home. Sign my buyer broker agreement, right? Our agency agreement. And let's go find you a house. Like, that's really what a driver wants to do. They don't want to go through all the fine print, where you may have somebody else who's very analytical, who wants to like read everything and see every detail and understand exactly the process to buying a home and step 1 and 2 and 3 and 1A and 1B and 1C. And you may need to go through that with them, right? Those analytical people. And then you may have some people that are like touchy feely and they want you to make sure that you communicate with them on their level at a very emotional level and talk about what it's going to be like to be in their new home and the home buying process and prepare them for this emotional roller coaster that they're about to go on. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. Like we want to adjust how we conduct our buyer presentation based on the personality type of the person that we're presenting to. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes. Any questions about that? All right. So that being said, you may want to adjust the buyer presentation. It's really front loaded. You'll see here in a second, we're at 27 out of 33 pages loaded. If we ever get to 33, you'll see that the front end of this is very like raw agent, raw company. And it really should be, I feel like it should be tweaked a little bit more to be more about the buyer and why they're wanting to purchase a home, why they feel like now is the right time, kind of their motivation, right? We want to determine are they ready, willing, and able? And we want to get in there and figure out what's pushing them to buy a home. So are they ready, willing, and able, right? Like what's going on in their lives that is pushing them towards buying a home? Is it the first home, a second home, third home, right? Like how many homes did they purchased? What are they looking for in a home? What do they know about the home buying process, right? Like if they can outline what they know to me about the home buying process, then I've just cut out half of my presentation right there because I don't have to talk to them about that. Right. So we want to be inquisitive and asking questions. We do want to build this up just a little bit, but it does just need to be a little bit unless you feel like the confidence of the buyer is lacking in you and then you want to add more. So some of these things you may want to add to the end of the presentation that you can touch on versus covering them at the beginning. So anyways, it's a fabulous, I like the color, I like the design, right? This is obviously out here because it's been successful. So here's your buyer presentation, page 1. Okay. It automatically put in my information here, which is fabulous, right? Who wouldn't want their name already in there? So like on the first page, you don't even really have to edit anything. It's got the logo on there that it should, because I've set up my one design in my profile to make sure that it's got all that information. I may add, like, if you have your own logo, this would be a great place to put your own logo. So to edit this, it's super easy, right? We can just come in and be like, fascinating. Uploads. My uploads. So if you have your own logo, this would be a good place. Or maybe you want to put your photo in there. So you can just add it in and then right. So you could edit it down. So you may want to put your picture in there. I would say it'd be better to maybe put your picture with like down here, almost maybe with no background if you had that. You can edit your photo once you've clicked on it. So it's got a lot of really cool tools in here. You can transform it. You can flip it, right? Maybe I should be on the other side. Oh, that just looks backwards to me. Enhance filter. You could add drop shadow. You can crop it. So you've got all sorts of different options that you can do to any of the images. So you can put in a logo on this first page. You can put in your photo. Then it's got this second page that kind of looks the same. I mean, it says like the same thing. Hold on, it's not scrolling anymore. Right, buy with confidence, prepared for, and then it says the client name. Does the client name need to be on there? If you're handing it off to them, it might be nice to include it on there. Is it required? Not necessarily, but here would be another spot where this page you may decide that, hey, up here it may be like prepared for and prepared by could go on the same page, and you could eliminate the second page. I don't know that you need, it kind of feels like two of the same, maybe. So you may want to like delete that page. I think if I click on the whole page and hit delete, maybe we can delete that whole page. So let's try. My computer's moving really slow and I really think it's this editing. Nope. All right, we'll have to figure out how to delete that later. Let's see. Then page 3, I really think it just gives you like, it's giving you like 3 different options. Like, do you like this one? Or do you like this one? Or do you like this one? And then you can pick which one, and then you can get rid of the other 2. Does that make sense to everybody? So pick which one's your favorite. Do you like the fancy living room, luxury with the piano? Do you like this one? Or do you like the plain one? I kind of lean towards the plain one myself, but you may have a different, and you can change out the picture too. So if you didn't like this and you had like a picture of Solano County, you could replace the picture of the living room with a picture of Solano County. Totally okay to do that. So pick yours, and then you're going to get rid of the other pages. Oh, there we go. Okay, so over on the right-hand side of the page, see where my cursor is now? You've got all the little pages there. If you click on those pages, it gives you the option to delete them. Not believe how slow my computer is moving. All right, there we go. We're going to delete page 3. So see how I did that? You just click on it. It gives you the option to either copy the page or delete the page. And then I just want to delete it. So now I just have my main header page that I like. And then in this one here, it talks about the introduction and purpose. You can choose whether you want this in your presentation or not. Again, I don't know that this helps a buyer make a home buying decision, so you can decide. The 1 manifesto, take risks, be bold, save the day. So you can decide what you want in here. The power of one. It's not just one thing. It's not just one thing that sets us apart, and then it's got a bunch of their different things. We are the unbrokerage. Again, I probably would be like, unbrokerage. Let's see here. We got that one. I'm going to get rid of this page. Delete. And you may decide to keep all of these. I don't think this helps a buyer make a buying decision. All right. And then we're finally reaching the meat. So this one's kind of cool. I like how the font, my one story, here's where you would need to edit it. So see this, it does not have any good information here. So here you need to edit this page, and you need to put in, this is where like your bio would go, or maybe you would create a story. Again, we just had that great keywords training and SEO, and then we also have the chat GTP. You could use our GPT. You could use that chat GPT to write your bio for you. Fabulous. So you may want to write something there, and it may be, if you're like, Amy, I haven't been selling houses for 20 years. I've only been selling for 2 months. It may not be like your history of selling houses. It may be like the heart of why you got into real estate in the first place, right? So you can spin this however you want to spin it. It doesn't have to be like, here's my long list of accolades from my life and my career as a real estate agent. It could just be like your heart for helping people get into homes and describing that, right? So you have lots of options on this page. Again, you can delete things, like it's got things over here where you could put in awards or different things. So you could add photos over there. It's got a place for client testimonials. If you don't have any client testimonials, you could always steal some, not from another agent, but you could always go to like Realty One and see if people left reviews, and then you could use those reviews here, right? It all depends on how you spin the story. Or you could delete these testimonials altogether and add them back in when you have some, right? So there's no one wrong or right way to do this. It does say here, like, read more on Rate My Agent profile. So if you don't have that set up, we probably want to delete it. So if you click on anything on here, if you double click, see, I can go in here and edit this. Put link here. That was for Rate My Agent. Or if it doesn't apply to the profile, we just click on it and hit your delete button, and adios, it's gone. Okay. If you accidentally delete something, you're like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. We just hit the undo button and it will magically reappear at some point. Okay. There we go. Put link here is back.
So
right
what would you put for the pictures, or just delete the pictures?
Oh, you could delete the pictures, or if you have client, like your closing pictures, like if you took closing pictures with your clients, with them like holding their keys, or them with a sold sign, maybe you sold their house for them and you have a picture of your sign was sold on the top, you could put anything in there, or you could delete them.
Oh, gotcha.
You could make them up. You could go in there and find, just maybe you don't want a photo, but maybe you just want like the outline of a house, or the outline of a key, or the outline of a for sale sign. You could get really creative. It doesn't have to be a photo necessarily. So you could use graphics in there as well.
So I can just put a picture of you and Shannon and Ed. There we go. That's a good idea.
Totally. Okay. So this is a good page. It just builds people's confidence in you. Do you need like 20 pages about you? Probably not, but one's probably a good idea to have in there, and they've intertwined some testimonials with the background or your heart. I think that's good. Here is got like local qualifications. So, and you want to make sure you read all of these things, and make sure you might want to edit it. In fact, some of these like need to be edited, or some of them you may decide that this page doesn't apply, right? Negotiations most powerful when coupled with a close eye to detail and knowledge of local ordinances. I will protect your best interests with thorough research and coordination. All right. Past buyer map, you could put like a map with pinpoints of where you sold homes. You could, if you did community outreach projects, like you could put them here. Local personal history you can put there, or you can decide that this page is too much, it's just, I'm gonna delete it. It's totally up to you, but do make sure you go in there and edit these, because if you notice, the text on here is like Adam and the Queen, right? Like there's nothing there. It's just gibberish. So make sure you either edit or delete. Okay, you could dive more into local qualifications. Like here might be where you talk about your history in the community, or that you've lived all over the Bay Area, right? So so this might be a good time to highlight information like that, so if they feel like that you belong there, that that you have a vast knowledge of the area. This might be where again, it just comes down to how you spin it. So just think about that. Think about how you spin it. As a new agent, you may not have much experience with selling homes, but it's all in how you present your story. So present it in a way that builds confidence. Okay, here's the different parts of home buying, right? And this page obviously needs to be edited, because here, again, it's just gibberish. It does talk about down here like cash, conventional, FHA. You may want to add another one that's like VA on here. And you may, instead of call it like different parts of home buying, you may want to talk about like different types of financing, or different ways to purchase a home, right? We're just waiting for the page to catch up. There we go. Different methods of home buying, right? And then we could talk about how, getting pre-approved the first step is determining your purchase power. Right? And then financing or cash. Right? Right? And then we talk about cash, conventional, FHA, VA, home buy, right? So you may add some more blurbs on this page to make it make sense to you. The pieces of a successful transaction. I almost feel like if this was mine, I don't know why we're diving into the types of financing. I would really stay out of that personally. And I may move this one up, like the pieces of a successful transaction, because then it talks about like mortgage lender, the title agent, escrow, home warranty. This one has escrow officer, title agent. So we may like wrap in like insurance instead of repeating title and escrow 3 times. Mortgage lender, mortgage, title, other. So you may want to elaborate on that a little bit differently. You could always add a row of squares and maybe talk about like inspections or repairs or the good faith deposit, right? So there's lots of things that you could add in here. So kind of think about it and put some thought into it. The steps of purchasing a new home. So part of me feels like this is a little out of order, so I might rearrange the order of this, right? So here's the steps to purchasing a new home. You got searching, getting an offer accepted, escrow, and closing date. And then you could go in and elaborate on each of those things while you're doing the presentation, right? It reminds them that here's the steps, and then you could talk a little bit more about it. How can I help you? Right? Share, tell, explain, identify, express, and provide. Right? And this is one of those custom pages, so this might be something that you'll edit. And just so you know, here at the end, I'm also going to show you my old buyer presentation. And I'm happy to share that presentation with you. Abby can share it with everybody, where you can kind of go in there and steal pieces of that if you need help coming up with what you would put on these pages. This stops working every minute and a half, so I have to talk faster, then I have to wait patiently and make up stuff to put in between. So, right, so custom page number 1, you probably want to edit this custom page number 1 too, with whatever you decide to highlight on this part of the page. You want to edit the title of the page. So just make sure you really look at each page and decide what you want to put on there. And if you like one page and you don't like another page, keep in mind too that you can click on the page over here. Hold on, let's see, we're on this page here. You can click on it or highlight over it and copy it. So if you want more pages that look like this one for you to tweak and adjust, you can hit copy, and it's going to copy that page for you and put it into your presentation. And then you can go in there and edit it. So that's a good way to do it. Now we have to wait patiently. I'm gonna have a drink of water while I wait patiently. I hit copy, which is probably a mistake in my computer's current state of mind. Wait. Oh, there we go. Now it's copying the page. My computer's feeling a little overworked and underpaid today. So it's just thinking really slow. It's really because I've got 2 screens running and on Zoom. And it's been on for the last few hours, just like this. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but the fan's really working hard today. All right, I think we're almost there. All right, so we created, see, we have 2 of the same pages now because it created a copy of that page. So you could go in there and edit it. The next one's kind of good. It talks about the one app, right? Unique agent excellence experience header here. You want to make sure to put a header on there, right? Like, so something about a unique home search experience, right? The Realty One Group home search app is the perfect tool for helping you find your next home. Download my national search app to start finding properties that pique your interest. We can message directly from the app about your favorites, request showing times with me in the app too for added convenience. Ooh, I don't really like this font. I'd probably change the font. It's hard to read. But this is a nice one that highlights the app. I would put a QR code to your app on this page so that they can scan the QR code and download your app that's branded to you. That's what I would do. QR code on this page. Okay, make it easy. Thank you, COVID, for making QR codes gain popularity and come back into style. All right, new home source pro. This is a good thing to point out, right? That we can help you find new homes as well as resale homes. So this is a good time to discuss the new home process and how you can help them, as long as you arrive to show them the properties, that you can schedule appointments for them to go through the sales office and to go see the models. And then you can also let them know too that you know, if we schedule an appointment ahead of time, right, we're trying to lock ourselves in as the expert and as the person, and we want to retain control of those new homes. And sometimes our clients, even though you tell them that, oh, you know, as long as I'm there with you, I can represent you in that purchase. Sometimes they're like, well, we just didn't want to inconvenience you. But you can say, hey, if we schedule an appointment ahead of time, number one, the salesperson's not going to follow us around. We can still go view the model homes, but we can make sure that the salesperson has all of the like list of amenities and all the you know, base model stuff that comes with the house, as well as if we see ones, oftentimes on new homes, they don't have all the homes modeled that they have available that they actually are building. And if we have an appointment, it may be a stretch. Then if you see something on their diagrams that you like and you want to see get a better grasp of that's not modeled, oftentimes they'll take us to go see one of the homes that they're in the process of building, so you can get an idea of what that floor plan looks like that's not modeled, right? So we're trying to build our value to our clients with new homes. So that's one of them, is we can point out the fact that, hey, if you let me set the appointment for you, and then we'll go see those properties. Then if you want to see one that's not modeled, oftentimes we can get into those other properties. And they'd be like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't realize there were some that weren't modeled. Okay, so this new home source pro, this is a good way to highlight kind of the new home buying process there, and that you can show them those properties. This talks about Real Scout. This page would be wherever you're going to set them up for their property search, you may want to highlight it here, whether it's Real Scout or Boomtown or Berries, and you may not want to name it. You may just want to be, you know, property search, and the fact that it's connected to the MLS, and that you'll set them up for a list of homes that matches their specific criteria of must-haves, so that they'll only be notified when properties come on the market that match something that would be a good fit for them, right? So that's a good page to highlight that. Here's the Live Easy. So we're talking about like building value, right? So Live Easy, that's the app that we have access to. It used to be called Move Easy, but it's the moving concierge service. That's that page that allows them to go in and register, or you can register them, and then it'll help them set up their utilities and such. So that's a really good free program that you have available at your fingertips. They may try to sell them other stuff, so you may want to prepare them in advance that, hey, it's a free service to set up all your utilities and stuff. But just so you know, they may also offer you some other added benefits that come with a cost. Never hesitate to say no. So we may want to prepare them in advance for that. And then the other thing that you can do with that Live Easy, which is part of the reason they've called it Live Easy instead of Move Easy, is that you can set up a vendor list in there. So I don't know if you were aware of that or not, but inside Live Easy, you can create a vendor list that then your clients have access to. So your, you know, window repair people and your house cleaners and your landscapers and your contractors and your arborists and your whatever it might be that they might need owning a home, your roofers, right? You can put them all in that database, and then your people have access to your list of vendors. So get ready for your upcoming transition with my complimentary moving concierge team. Move stress free while a concierge representative works out all the details for you. Then we have the winning strategy, just talking about how I work exclusively for you as the buyer's representative. and I get paid by the seller, right? So you may want to come in here and tweak these paragraphs a little bit, but this is a good page to include in there. We're frozen again. Waiting patiently. Any questions so far? What do you guys think of the look of this buyer presentation?
It is lengthy, but I would like to shorten it up.
Exact. That was my thoughts exactly too.
Okay,
Too
me too,
much.
right? I agree.
So what's a good size? Like 14 pages, or is that even too much?
It kind of depends what's in there. Yeah, I mean, 33 is a lot. I think I've eliminated this down to like 30 now. That's still a lot. I would probably think that maybe somewhere in that 15-page range. And it depends, like a lot of this, there's like not a whole lot of info on each page on this one. So if you're running it through as like a presentation and talking through it, then it may seem like it goes by faster versus like printing it out. But still, I still think it's long. I think they'd be somewhere in that like 15-page range max, maybe.
Amy, you said you developed one. I mean, how extended is yours? How many pages do you have on the one you developed?
Let me look at that here in a second. I have it pulled up. Give me just a second.
Okay.
We'll finish this one. So now, and this goes back to this one's kind of long. Now we're going back to like a brand that's known and trusted, and why we are number one. And then you've got some custom pages that you can go in there and tweak and add is kind of the, so especially these like last 5 pages, you could probably just like get rid of all of them. You've already built, I mean, if you needed this to build your confidence like early on, you could move it up there. So anyways, tweak these pages and change them up. It gives you the layout and some good ideas. So I like this one in that aspect. Oops. Cancel. I don't know what I hit. All right. And then at the end, it's got some pages for like buyer notes, additional comments, notes, buyer checklist, additional comments, notes, additional comments. And then it's got some closeout pages, some thank yous, some final pages that you can pick your favorite and then go with that, right? So this one's really probably closer to like 25 pages by the time you eliminate all the extra. It still is a little long without a lot of content. So it's kind of like, here's one of the tools we have, and here's who I am, and here's our company, but it doesn't really talk a whole lot about the home buying process. So that being said, our home buying guide, it's mine and Shannon's. We call it a home buying guide so that it instead of a buyer presentation. Maybe it's just Google. It's not, there you go. Ours is, let's see, hold on, I refreshed it. I'll probably scan down and it'll be like 42 pages. Hold on, we're waiting. All right, I'm going to close this Realty One window out. So if you guys want to see that presentation again, you know what I'm going to do first. Hold on. That's already gone anyways. All right, I'm going to close that window with that buyer presentation. Only because I think it's bogging my computer down just a little bit. So hold on. Let me move this toolbar. All right, let's see. This one has 20 total slides. The last couple slides are like buyer's homework. And then I've also got a lender's list on there. So let's see, it's about 15 total, but let's see. So mine has, we made ours more like a guide to buying a home, where it walks them through the home buying process to instill confidence in the process itself. So we have our intro page. We have our bios on the second page, just like one page, like here's who we are and here's our goal. Then we have the goal for the appointment, right? Get to know you better, explain the home buying process, answer your questions, ask you important information about what homes would meet or exceed your expectation, and determine if we should work together. I usually actually just kind of skip. In fact, oftentimes when I print this, I actually pull that page out. I also oftentimes pull this one out as well, the difference between us and them. But this just goes through and talks about the value that we offer. Oops, sorry, it skipped around. I apologize. There we go. Then we have the overview of the home buying process. I don't go into this in details. I usually leave this for them. I usually give them a copy of this to take home. And this just kind of walks them through what the process to buying a home is. And I usually just let them know, like, here's the overview of buying a home. We're going to walk through these steps as we go through our meeting today. Home Buying 101 kind of summarizes it. Kind of talks them through, right, pre-qualification, cash, home search, the offer acceptance, good faith deposit. So we address all those issues up front. Then we talk about inspections and investigation, like what kind of inspections and investigation would you want to have, seller disclosures, natural hazard disclosure, and then additional things that they can do, buyer investigation. So, right, so we're really talking about the home buying process itself so that they go through that process. Then we talk about the repair request, contingencies, right? So we're addressing everything that we're going to talk with, like when we write that first offer. What are the terms that they're going to hear? What's that process look like? I'm trying to alleviate the unknowns for my buyers because educated buyers are less likely to not show up, right? They're more likely to show up. They're more likely to complete the transaction, and they're more likely to determine that now's a good time for me to buy a home or now's not a good time for me to buy a home. And that's what I'm trying to determine. Like, are we ready, willing, and able? So here's the process. Here's what to be prepared for. You're going to have inspections and investigations, and we're going to recommend home inspections, and there's a cost to that. And then we're going to recommend pest or sewer lateral or roof inspections, and there's a cost associated with that. We're also going to need a good faith deposit. Like, are you prepared for this process? Right? And oftentimes I try to meet with the buyers as far in advance as possible. Like, as soon as somebody's like, oh, we're thinking about maybe buying a home this year, we're like, you know what, let's sit down and talk about the home buying process so that you can kind of prepare yourself in advance so that when you do determine that you're ready, you kind of know what to expect. Does that sound good? And then we're going to sit down and go through this, right? What else? We have the repair request, contingencies here. We kind of highlight the loan process, disclosures, appraisal, underwriting, clear to close. And then I kind of highlight what title and escrow does for them. These really, truly could probably go. If we kind of talk about it in here, we have like Home Buying 101, the pre-qualification, the home search, the offer. I could probably add a small bullet about the loan process in here that would talk a little bit more about that and then alleviate that page. Abby, you have a hand up. No, I have my hand up, not you. It's me. I don't know why I'm raising my hand. All right. Lower hand. Thought it was Abby. All right. Probably because I'm waving my hand, so it's picking me up and wanting to raise my hand. All right. So title and escrow, so they understand that process. We talked about the clear title, title insurance, CC&Rs, signing, and then on record, right, what that closing process looks like. Other items, right? Contingency for the sale of another property, contingency for the purchase of a replacement property, if they're selling a home, or if the sellers maybe have a contingency for replacement property, or the seller may request in possession after the close of escrow, right? I'm preparing them all for this in advance. Then we talk about the closing process, the final 5 days, clear to close, signing, final walkthrough, and closing, right? What's that going to look like? Preparing for keys. Giving notice, we talk about when do you give notice if you're currently a renter, when do you turn on utilities, don't make any big purchases, don't make any major life decisions or changes, right? So really in 13 pages, that kind of summarizes everything. A couple of those I could probably narrow down a little bit more, but it's really just going through the home buying process. This page, I'd replace 14 with the BRBC, the Buyer Representation and Broker Compensation Agreement. And then the last pages are homework, right? And this might be something I go through with them during, if they're ready to buy now, I'm going to go through this with them at the appointment, versus if they're going to be ready to buy in like 6 months, we're not going to go through this yet. I'm going to send this home with them. And when they are ready to purchase, these are the things that we're going to discuss, right? It's best way to contact them. It's really sensitive now. It wasn't moving at all, and now it's like super sensitive, right? Any additional buyers in on the transaction, right? Are their parents helping them, or their aunts and uncles? Any special needs with regards to the buying process, right? Are they going to be out of town, right? I'm trying to understand what's going to happen, what the expectation is. Expectations of you. Let us know if you plan to see any new homes. We cannot represent you in the purchase if we do not go with you. Let us know if you see any homes that you are interested in online, for sale by owner, etc. Let us know if there are any homes that you want to submit offers on, and contact us if you have any questions or concerns regarding the purchase of your home, right? Expectations, we're lining those out from the beginning. New home, right? How many bedrooms, bathrooms? We're just asking, where are you wanting to buy? What are you looking for? What are your non-negotiables? Any specific areas? Now, if I was going through this in person with them, talking about what are you looking for? Cool. Well, we need at least 3 bedrooms. Perfect. What's important to you about 3 bedrooms? Well, we need one for ourselves, and we're thinking about having kids down the road. So we definitely need at least 1 bedroom for potential kids. And then we want to have a home office, or we want to have visitors to the house. So we want to have a guest bedroom or an office, right? So that phrase, what's important to you about that, is a really good phrase to get to the heart of what's going on with that. Well, what else is important to you? They may be like, well, a good sized lot would be important to you. Perfect. Why is that important to you? Well, we want to be able to have a big grassy yard for our dogs to play in. Perfect. If a lot of the yard is eaten up with a swimming pool, would that be a deal breaker for you, right? We're trying to get to the heart of what they're looking for, why it's important, and what isn't going to work for them, so that we don't show them those properties. Okay, so remember that phrase, why is that important to you, or what's important to you about that? Right? After you kind of get their list of must-haves, you could be like, okay, so if we found a house with at least 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, had a good sized yard where you could have a grassy area for your dogs to run around, and has a 2-car garage, is there any reason that you would not purchase that property? Well, if it was really dated on the inside, then we probably wouldn't buy it. Okay, so having an updated home is important to you. Is it updated, or just like clean and you could actually like live in it right away? Oh, well, yeah, we don't really care about the updates, but yeah, we want to be able to move right in. Like, everything needs to be functional. It needs to feel nice when it can be cleaned, and that we can move in, right? So get to the heart of what they're looking for with this. This should be a conversational piece. I always have my lender list here. This one needs to be updated, but I always have a lender list with the recommendations. Remember, anytime you recommend something to your buyers or to any of your clients, you should make 3. So make sure you have 3 recommendations on there. I usually do like a couple of local lenders, and then I usually have a relationship with a bank of some sort that I can refer people to as well, because you always have those buyers that are like, I want to do business with a bank. I've heard about these mortgage broker people and they're shady, so I don't want to do business with them. I only want to talk to a bank. So I make sure I have a contact with a bank on there. It may be a good idea to have like, and maybe not on your referral sheet, but to build a relationship with somebody at like Loans to You or Quicken Loans, or whatever those online ones are, that you have somebody. Because if you've got somebody shopping those like online lenders, you want to be in charge of that relationship. So it's always good to have somebody you can refer there as well. And then I just have a congratulations page. So ultimately it's 20 pages. It really stops at about page 15 would be the conclusion page. What are your guys' thoughts on that one?
I like yours better.
I would probably spruce it up a little bit with like less words and a couple more like little images or fun icons or something to make it. I like the look of the other one better, but I think the content needs some love on the other one.
Plus, I like yours saying it's a home buying guide.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will, oh, you know what, Abby, when you go to share this, video, or you can just keep track of who logs their attendance for this class, and you can just share this to them as, viewers on the home buying guide that's I think it's in the Petard Riddle folder. There you go. So there's a reason for you guys all to log your attendance today when she posts that. But yeah, so that's kind of, you want to make sure you have a home buying guide, and then you have it ready. Your goal would be that you're going to sit down with each and every home buyer and have a conversation with them. If nothing else, maybe they've bought and sold multiple properties. We just want to sit down and have that conversation and really dig into what they are looking for. There's not that many properties on the market, but there's enough properties out there that you don't want to be showing 10 to 15 homes before writing an offer. So if we can help eliminate some of those properties ahead of time by getting into their needs initially, then hopefully we can show them like 3 to 5 homes and get them in the contract on a property. That's kind of your goal. And not that you want to like be like, there's only 3 properties for you, but you want to know what they want so well that you can eliminate it down to 3 to 5 homes so that you're not spending days and hours showing properties, that you're showing them what they want and that you're able to write offers. And it's okay with your buyers if they pinpoint a home that doesn't match their must-haves, to go back and say, hey, Anastasia, I know that you wanted to see this property. However, on your list of must-haves, you said that you needed a 2-car garage. And this one has a garage that's been converted into that 4th bedroom. So it actually doesn't have a garage anymore. Are you going to be okay with that? Right? Or I know that you said it was important to have a garage because you like to work on cars. You've got a lot of car parts that you need to store. This one doesn't have that space. Is that going to be okay with you?
No, I want
No, right? Because now you can eliminate showing them that property.
We went over what I wanted and this is what I want. So delete those ones that don't fit my criteria and don't send them to me because I don't have time to look at unnecessary homes.
Right?
Oh God, I sound like a crabby home buyer.
You sound like a normal home buyer. Right? Hey, you wanted to see 6 homes tomorrow, and I was looking through those homes, and this home here, it only has 3 bedrooms and it has no office space. And you mentioned that you wanted like 4 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms and an office because those 3 bedrooms were really important for you because you wanted your kids to have their own bedroom and you still wanted to have that extra space for an office and for a guest space. And these 2 homes don't have that space. Is that going to be okay with you? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, well then let's eliminate those, right? So let's try to keep it to a minimum so that we're not out showing properties for hours and hours and hours on end. I mean, it's fun to go see all the properties on the market, but you know, when you've got multiple buyers, you've already seen those properties a couple different times to other buyers. So you know what's in them, you know whether it's going to meet their must-have list or not. And so that's why it's important to dig into kind of this homework and really make sure you know what they are looking for in that list of your new home. Have a good day, Brittany. The list for the link for attendance isn't up yet, but I will. Oh, she left. I'll make sure she knows. We'll get her information so that I can share mine with you guys. And then when I share my home buying guide with you guys, I'll share it with y'all as viewers, and you'll just need to save a copy of it. In fact, we're gonna put it in the we'll put a copy of it in the Minty folder. And Anastasia and Brittany. Hold on, I'm just gonna write everybody's names down. And Lonnie and Tracy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, cool. Any other questions?
No, ma'am. I like yours
Nope.
better than the one I did on Canva.
Tracy, question?
Nope. No, I see mixing the two of them though.
Yeah.
I do like to look at the other one, but it'll be nice to kind of pirate some of your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Pirate away. Cool. Alrighty then. We are going to wrap up for today. We will be back tomorrow covering something fantastic. Let's see here. Is my calendar open? It is. Let's see. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have it's Jessica Callison will be on with talking about jumbo loans. And then on Thursday, we're covering some really fantastic forms. We are covering the ESD, the FHDS, the solar, and the DIA. So the exempt seller disclosure. I can't think of what the FHDS is. Oh, the fire hazard disclosure statement, the solar form, if the property has solar, and the disclosure information advisory, which is by far my favorite advisory out of all of them. So that'll be on Thursday at 9. So I will see you all tomorrow with Jessica at 9 a.m. to talk about jumbo loans and then our forms on Thursday.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
All right, thank you. And I'll
Thank
get that
you.
shared
Have a good
with
one.
you all. What?
I said thank you. Have a good one.
You're welcome. Have a fabulous day.
Bye.